Hey, welcome to the Wu-Man Chu Chronicles. You must be wondering, where's Wu-Man Chu? He's usually here every Monday, but he had to leave, and so I'll be taking over for this time around. Um, since I'm taking over, I decided why not talk about Sareth Fest, since I'm performing on there again for the seventh year in a row. I'll be hosting it, and I'll be doing storytelling. I'll be on the Martha's Little Maniac podcast with Michael Sword. Um, and let's see, I'm doing, so there's stand up that I'm doing, storytelling, podcast, guest, and hosting. And I'll be photographing it probably if we can go. If we can go, hopefully the pandemic doesn't ruin this again. We had to postpone it from July. Actually, it would have been over yesterday. But but it's all good. We'll be back September, and uh, yeah. So what I'm doing for the Wu-Man Chu Chronicles every week is raising funds for Smitty's Greenlight Tavern. So, which reminds me, I got to put on the banner for you to donate to their cause, and also you can also see it on the bottom there. Um, on the bottom scrolling. There we go. All right. So, and then also I'm raising funds for the Grindhouse. They're changing their name to the Grindhouse, which was the Daily Grind in the beginning, and currently the Hanging Tree Cafe. So they're open, so you can get your vegetarian meals there, or your vegan, or they have meat dishes. They got great drinks. Tip them well, and because they're an amazing staff and they have amazing food. Um, but yeah, I guess we'll talk about um, how Strathfest happened, and what I'll be doing stand up wise. Um, Strathfest happened as a film festival, a short film festival at Clive Barker's place in 2010, and I took a break because I wanted to focus on concert journalism while I was out there in LA, and so I started writing articles and seeing all these cool concerts for free for as long as I can remember, for about 2 years, and I saw like 50 years of music. So um, I took the knowledge that I gained from the film festival and Clive and the articles, and I brought it back home to see if I can write about all the local bands. And I said I'm gonna move to Florida, and I just want three comics and three musicians, and I tagged one member of each band. And if I did stand up one time out in LA, and I continue to do it in Pueblo for the months that I was in Pueblo for the second time around, my second time around in Pueblo. and and my first, they said we all want in on this. I tagged one member of each band that I wrote about, and so I booked everyone, and I couldn't afford them, but they said that they would play it for free. So, but I'm definitely raising funds for everyone this year and the previous years, and finding out what they want to get compensated. And luckily, they have taken it easy on my wallet, and I couldn't have asked for more. Um, let's see. So the fest happened, and it was 3 days long, and I was able to fit everyone. And then, so I pursued stand up in Florida. My concert journalism days were pretty much on life support. I just covered Welcome to Rockville. Rarely covered any shows. My last one was in Daytona, and rightfully so, because that's where I did most of my journalism there when it comes to interviewing comedians and stuff. What else? I've been flying back to Colorado ever since to put on Sweatfest, and um, I know I shouldn't book myself, but I want to join in on the fun with my pals, and so I'm glad they let me do stand up with them and do art, performance art. Um, and I get together with my buddies Barrett to print the shirts, and my pal Charlie and I collaborate on the artwork. I usually give him all my ideas. He helps me with the setting, and then we just go wild. And the merch this year is pretty awesome. It's just our ode to Ralph Steadman, Hunter S. Thompson, and Clive Barker. So we just combine all three artists and writers, and boom, there we go. Stand up wise, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be only doing 10 minutes, maybe 12, and letting everyone else do 10 minutes or more, or 5 minutes. 5 minutes to an hour. It depends. There's comedians coming down from Denver and Longmont, and we're going to party with the locals. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I don't know, this one's a pretty short episode, to be honest with you. Because eventually I'll talk about the storytelling, if I need to, and the podcast. And so I'll talk about that when I get, if I need any more episodes, I need to hop on in. But yeah, there's going to be some storytelling. It's going to be the first time that we're going to have it at Sareth Fest, and a live podcast recording. So we'll see how all that goes. I just like taking the fest and having a blank canvas and just booking everyone, putting them and having them perform. And in the beginning of Sareth Fest, it was just pretty rough. I blended the musicians with the comics, and it just didn't turn out well, because everyone was setting up and tearing down, and they were trying to do their set, and it was just a mess. So we've had it everywhere. We had it in. So we have the musicians have their own days, and the comedians have their own days, and if there's a musician that's in multiple bands, I usually put them back to back, so that way they have their drums ready to go and their instruments ready to go, and all that stuff, and their levels, and so it's easier to tear down and set up. And so I got better over time with that too. It's always been like a trial and error thing. And I have to sell my own merch, and I'm just wearing all these different hats when I'm putting together the fest. I just run around like a chicken with its head cut off, but it's worth it every year. I feel like Linda Blair in The Exorcist with my head spinning, but it's totally worth it. It's like a positive stress, and to see everyone smiling and dancing and stuff like that is awesome. Let's see, but yeah, I guess I stand up has always been awesome to me. I moved down to Florida to pursue it, and I wouldn't have asked for a better state to pursue stand up in. I mean, there was no pay to play mics, and all my friends had their shows, and they booked me every month and for like 3 years straight, and I didn't have to worry about like snow or blizzards or icy roads. I would have had to deal with that in Colorado, and each scene that I was a part of, like Jacksonville, Daytona, Orlando, Melbourne, and where else I can perform stand up was awesome. I even performed stand up in a horror convention, so that was awesome. So it all came back around. But I think I'm gonna probably wrap it up there. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm raising funds for this Smitty's Greenlight Tavern's virtual tip jar. You can find their PayPal and Venmo on the bottom there. And also this the Hanging Tree Cafe, which would be the grindhouse. We're gonna have it most likely in their patio, I hope. So that way social distancing will be in effect with the masks and everything. We just need to bring live entertainment back. If not, we're gonna live stream it through here, and I'm totally cool with that too. just make sure everyone's safe this year at Sweatfest. Hopefully everything will go back to normal in 2021. But I think you'll all dig the shirts and all that good stuff. But yeah, donate to these fine folks' Venmo and PayPal's, and drop by the Hanging Tree Cafe and order some awesome food. Tip them well. This has been a short episode of the Wu-Man Chu Chronicles, and next week I will have my friend Patrick Butkovich. He was on my roast 4 months after Strathfest, and yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot of fun for that episode. Looking forward to catching up with my friend Patrick, and so I will definitely see you all next week, and stay tuned for that episode. And this has been the Wu-Man Chu Chronicles, and have a good night.